Okay. Sorry, I think my network is fluctuating. But it's a little bit stable now. So let's proceed. So like as I was saying, I started working on this on Tuesday. This is Thursday. And like as I said, I'm 80% done. So I'm going to explain now. The reason why I'm showing you this is for you to understand workflow. There's something we call in data analytics and in any tech project you are working on, it's called workflow. Workflow is how you are able to organize the task ahead of you such that they all fit into one piece. So I can ask you, what's your workflow? I'm expecting to probably see maybe a sketch or a chart that describe exactly what you want to do and how you intend to achieve it or how you intend to get it done. So currently, this is the purchase order. Now, the inventory has 5 sheets that makes it up. The purchase order, the product inventory, the vendor, the sales order, and the customer order, which I will add up later. That's really not very, very much important because they could choose not to keep track of their customers. It's strictly up to them. So the purchase order, product inventory, then we have the vendors who sells the product, and then we also have the sales order, the setup, and the dashboard. So the way the inventory works, if you sell goods, whether you are selling online or you are selling in a shop, physical location, an inventory helps you to receive goods, take those goods and house them. Then when customers need those goods, you bring those goods and sell to customers. Take, for instance, let me use the layman understanding. When we were young, and when I usually go to my dad's store, he sells spare parts. Now, there's something we do at the beginning of the Precious, Ubu, please. This is the last time I'm going to talk to you about muting your mic. Next time, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to remove you from the class, and I'll make sure you don't come back in. I will make sure you don't come back in. Your mic is always on. Please. Don't distract
my mic
class.
was on.
Don't distract my class, please. Let's proceed. I will repeat again. If you come into the class, please just mute your mic. In short, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute everybody, and you can no longer mute yourself. So you stay muted. All right. So let's proceed. So I was discussing an inventory system. What we usually do when we open the shop for business for the day, we count the total number of goods and we record in the morning. At the end of the day, we count what was sold and we also record. And then we usually use calculator to minus what it was in the morning from what it's left in the evening to have the current stock. Now that's an inventory system, literally. So we are trying to do the same, but electronically. And this particular one is going to be real time or online. So that means they can use it across states, across countries. So we have the purchases order. This purchases order connects your store in the office or in the shop to the vendor who is selling to you. Take, for instance, you are buying goods from Alibaba or AliExpress, and you have all the list of the people that supply you different products. So each time you want to order any of the product, you can come here. All products have been mapped with an ID. So the product name, the date you are ordering it, the vendor selling that product, and then the vendor's name, the vendor's phone number, the quantity that you are ordering. That's quantity in stock. You are adding to your stock. The cost, how much, the status, the date of arrival, the person who is in charge of, that's your sales girl. Then any notes. Then if you have message, this message and send is if I want to send a message to this customer. So I can place an order. I just need to fill in everything I need here. And then I come here and I click send. So it sends this message that is here on column N to this WhatsApp number that is here, which is the vendor. So the vendor takes action and supplies me the goods. Now, when the goods gets to me, I now come back to product inventory to receive the goods. So if you check, I've done a lot of work on this. So on this product inventory, I pick each of the goods that was brought, the product description, the costs, down to now my available stock is what I have in shop. Now, reorder point, if it gets to 10, it should trigger a reorder. So what I now did again today was to use conditional formatting to color code this column such that the last time it was a drop down where you have to select, it was a drop down where you have to select available stock, reordering needed, and then out of stock. But in this case, I've changed it to conditional formatting with colors. So once it is 10 and above, we said the stock is available. If it is below 10, we said it has gotten to a point where we need to reorder. If it is 0, that means it is out of stock. If I change the available stock here now to 5 and I press enter, you see it's telling you reordering needed. And if I change this is 0, that's why it's like this. If I change it to 11, you can see it has changed to available stock. So as it keeps coming up like that, It keeps showing you what is needed and what is not needed. So once it turns 0, it shows you out of stock. Now, here, I have been able to link this inventory with the sales order here. Now, this, when a customer comes in to buy, this is the sheet I used to sell to the customer. So a customer comes in here, picks a product, set the quantity you want to sell for that product. You can set the status and then the price that you sell, and you close that transaction. Now, what this does, the inventory system does, is it will pick that you have sold 4 of this product here, because this is quantity 4. So it will pick that you have sold 4 of this product. It will now come down to the inventory and subtract 4 from here. So you can see the total sales and then current stock level. So whatever is in current stock level, that's what you have. So in this place, because we put 0 here, it's showing you that it's minus 10. And it's also showing you this is out of stock. So I can come here and change this to 20. Yeah. So you can see the moment I change it to 20, it's now positive here. So in the sales order, if you count how many sales I have made here, this is 4 plus 5, 9, plus 6, 15, plus 3, 18, plus 10, 28. If you also come down, because that's 28, that means I've sold 28 products today. So if you come back to your inventory, it's supposed to reflect that 28 sales have left your shelf. And this is now what is left. So all these things is automated. So I'm done with the analysis, except for a few, like what's remaining, because I also want the prices to be automated as well. You can check cost. There's still error here. My formula have not yet worked. You can see the formula at the top here. But I'm going to fix that pretty soon. Then I now began my dashboard using pivot table. Now this is pivot table I'm using to crest this out. Now I did pivot table for the sales order, which is this transaction. For this class, I'm going to start a new pivot table for the inventory. So on the pivot table for sales order, here, you can see based on the product that have been sold, now you can see the total number of sold products here in count is 28, like we saw. And then in terms of price, it is $300,000. That means when you come to sales order and add up all these prices, currently this is what we have sold, and that is $300,000. If you scroll up, you see it there. Then I've also been able to count how many products do we have currently in stock. There are 5 different types of products. And then the sum of other quantity. So I am showing what way did the customers, or what's the medium of sales? Via phone, online sales, or in store. And then you can also see the performance of each product here, with STC 30 making as much as $125,000 in revenue. Now that's for the sales column. In the test that you're going to write on Saturday, you're going to work with pivot tables. So I want to, on my sheet here, I want to create a pivot table, or use a pivot table to analyze another section of the sheet. So let's pick the product inventory. So this is my product inventory. And I want to make a pivot table out of this. So I come down to my dashboard, because everything is going to be in my dashboard. So I click here, or where I want the pivot table to be, and I come down to insert pivot table. Now, it's an existing sheet. I'm going to select existing sheet. I click here, and I select this cell. You can see it has already captured it, that this is where I'm putting my analysis, and I click on OK. Then, which range of data is he working with? Initially, I have done the pivot table for sales order. So I want to create a pivot table for product inventory. So I'm going to click here, click on this window. It's going to ask you to select the location your sheet is. So I'm simply going to come here, product inventory. Now you can see the name of this particular table is inventory tracker 1. So I can come here and select inventory tracker 1. So you can see it has selected all the table for me, and I click on OK. So my data is correct, my sheet is correct. Then next, you click on Create. Now, when you create a new pivot table, Google Sheet places an empty table for you to begin creating what you want to create. And by the right-hand side, you can already see all the columns we have here. So I could decide to build up more in my dashboard, add more details as regards to what's going on in my inventory. So I want to pull, based on the available data, we have product ID, vendor ID, product name, description, price, available stock. So one of the most important things in this sheet is available stock. So I want to be able to show the stock that are available. So I'm going to take the available stock and put it in values. Now, remember what I said. Whatever it is you want to calculate, that you know you're going to find the sum of it, you can put those in the value section of the pivot table. So now you can see it's showing sum of available stock. Now we don't want to take the sum of the available stock, because the stock are counted per packet or per carton. So it's supposed to be a count function. So we have 4 of the product available stock. So let's check the data and see what our available stock is all about. Okay, we actually have to take the sum because you are going to add up everything here to check what your available stock is. So we'll come back to the dashboard and come down here and change it from count to sum. So our available stock is 101 product stock in terms of quantity. So if I want to represent that here now, all I simply need to do is right click and copy this, Control C and Control V to paste it. I can just drag it here and drop it somewhere here. Now it's still showing what's this because I just copied. So I'm going to change the reference. If you want to edit this chart or these visuals, you double click on it. It will open up the chart for you. And you're going to select where the data is. Currently, the data is on F24. You can see it here, F24. So I'm going to come here and change this to F24, which is where my data is. So you can see we have 101 available stock. So I'm going to copy this and paste here. And then change it to available stock. And that is 100. 101. Another thing again we can pull out from our inventory sheet can be, we can decide to show the various products that are due for reordering. So in that case, we are going to copy any of these. I'm going to copy this, copy, and come down somewhere here and paste it. So now I have copied this to this. You click on this to edit this particular chart, that pivot table. Now, ideally, if I was not copying and pasting, what I would have done is simply coming to insert and insert a new pivot table. So we want to show the products that are due for reordering. So we can have that in form of a table. So first thing first, we need the product. So we're going to remove the sales platform. Then the products, drop it on the row. So that gives us, so you can see the list of products are here now. So here, I'm going to remove the values. Then status. So we need the status of the products. I can drop this here too. So we have product and various status. Okay, this is delivered, shipped. That's not what we want. So we remove status. We want to represent status is supposed to be available stock, reorder, and no stock or out of stock. Am I on the right table? Order ID, product, order date, order quantity, product name. I want to be sure that I'm on the right sheet. Inventory tracker 1. Oh, I think I'm the one making the mistake. I'm actually, let me show you where the mistake is. This particular pivot table was built from the sales order sheet. It was built from this sheet, this pivot table. So if we want to use this pivot table, we need to change the reference of the data from sales order sheet to product inventory sheet to give us what we want. So how do we do that? It's already selected here. So you can come here and reorder or click on this. We are looking at product inventory. This is what we are supposed to be using and not sales order. So we'll select this. We'll click on OK. Okay, so now you can see everything has changed on the column. So what we want to check for is the list of product as product name, drop in the row. Let's delete this. And then next is their status. Let's drop the status in value. So let's pull this a little bit out. Available. So we're going to remove the total, show total, because we're not showing